Volim da ga primam. Šta volim?
A voliš da jašiš?
Pa volim, ali mi se nekad isto tresu, pa onda ne volim.
Pokaži mi.
Jebim.
Šta si rekla?
Subscribe. It's now or never, boys and girls.
This film comes from Serbia and was released in 2012. The protagonist of this film is a young girl named Jasna. We will be brought into the life of Jasna. Watch until the end, okay? Jasna is a girl who is still in college. He and his friends really like to party. Jasna, who had a pretty good cell phone at that time, liked to record her daily activities. Jasna's family could be said to be an underprivileged family. His father was sick while his mother worked as a household assistant. One day when Jasna was in class, she and her friends played a prank on their old lecturer. Jasna and her friends even played in class. When class was over, she saw a handsome young man. Jasna had long been interested in this young man. His name was Joel. He is Jasna's senior. Evening arrived, he and his friends were gathering. They were preparing to go to a party. When they arrived, one of Jasna's friends was having an argument because she saw the guy she had a crush on dancing with another girl. The people at the party then broke up their fight. After a while, Jasna's other friend asked Jasna to go somewhere, but Jasna refused. She saw Joel, who was also present at the party. Jasna reasoned that she would look after her friend Sanja, who was drunk. Jasna also took her friend to a safe place. She then approached the man she had a crush on, namely Joel. The two of them chatted. Not long after, Joel took Jasna somewhere. Joel offered Jasna drugs. In order to get close to Joel, she tried the stuff. Not long after that, Joel said goodbye to Jasna. Jasna returned to the party and took her friend out of there. After returning from the party, Jasna and Sanja fell asleep at the bus stop. They didn't have time to go home because they were still drunk. Dawn arrived. Jasna's cell phone rang. One of her friends called her and asked where she was. Long story short, when Jasna arrived at her house, she saw her family members gathered. Jasna, who had not had time to change her clothes, was shocked to see that. She then went to her room. She saw her father in her room. They then chatted a little, then her father left the room. Her father really loved Jasna. The next day at school, Jasna and her friends are looking at Joel throwing tables and waving flags. Jasna not only saw but recorded the incident. At night, Jasna and her friend were making fun of a girl who might still be at the same university as them. Jasna then imitated the woman's style. She and her friend was having fun. The next day during break time, he filmed Joel from up close. Joel, who felt that Jasna was interested in him, took Jasna to the toilet. When Jasna returned from the toilet, she then told her friends that she and Joel were doing something in the toilet. Jasna even recorded her actions with Joel.
I ti ekstra igraš.
Imaš neko pivo?
Nimam.
From that incident, Jasna and Joel became closer. At night, Jasna and the others joined the Joel group. They are having fun. Jasna then approached Joel. Not long after, Joel took Jasna to an empty building and they had sexual relations. Not only that, Jasna again recorded it. After that incident, Jasna was at home. She still remembered the incident in the old building with Joel. She slowly took off her clothes and started fantasizing. However, her fantasy was shattered by her mother. Jasna was called to the living room. Her mother gave Jasna a lecture. He said that Jasna had never spoken to her father since his father fell ill, but Jasna remained silent. Jasna's parents love her very much. They even give Jasna the freedom to hang out with her friends. However, Jasna didn't care about that. The next day, Jasna and her friends were partying again. Jasna, who was not usually hyperactive, was in high spirits. He tries to get Joel's attention. After returning from the party, Jasna did not go home but went to Joel's house.
There, Joel turned on the computer and played games. He ignored Jasna. Jasna then racked her brains to get Joel's attention. She then showed Joel the video of her masturbation. Joel, who saw that, stopped the game. He then told Jasna to lie down on the floor, and what happened at that moment became even strange.
Again and again their relationship grew closer. The next day, Jasna and her friends, including Joel, were having a party. Jasna, who is crazy about Joel, does anything for Joel. She even tried forbidden items that she had never tried before. After returning from the party, she returned to Joel's house. Jasna and Joel then try new things in sex. When Jasna arrived at her house, she heard news from her mother that her father was going to have surgery. Her mother asked Jasna to visit her father when he underwent surgery. But Jasna didn't answer anything.
The next day, Jasna and Joel had fun again. Jasna even behaved like a pet to satisfy Joel. In the evening, Jasna wanted to go out with her friends. She reasoned that she wanted to study at one of her friends' house. Jasna asked her mother for money, but Jasna didn't want to accept the money because the amount was small. Because her mother really loved Jasna, she also gave her extra money. Jasna doesn't really go out to study, but rather plays with her friends. That night, Jasna and her friends broke into the campus. They then entered the classroom and tampered with the contents of the class. And of course, all the actions carried out by Jasna and her friends were recorded by her. In the morning, Jasna took Joel to her house to get something. Suddenly, her mother appeared. Seeing Jasna bringing a male friend, her mother was shocked. She then spoke to Joel and asked his name. Her mother realized something when Joel said his full name. It turned out that Joel's mother and Jasna's mother were distant relatives. Hearing this, Jasna and Joel didn't react in any way. They thought it was normal. Her mother then invited Jasna and Joel to breakfast before leaving.
Joel.
The next day, Joel called Jasna. He told Jasna to come somewhere. Upon Jasna's arrival at that very place, they had sexual relations. After that, they entered the toilet and consumed drugs. Jasna started to confide in Joel about her family. It turns out that all this time, Jasna loved her family, but she was embarrassed to admit it. She didn't even want her friends to know that her father was sick. Joel, who saw Jasna who was sad, immediately hugged her. Slowly, Jasna began to realize that family was very important.
Maybe that's all for this video. Once again, if you are curious about the film, the title is in the description. Sorry if this video still has many shortcomings in any aspect.